Hello YouTube, this is my Simplicity snowblower. It's an okay machine. I have had some issues with it though, mostly with this wheel slipping. You know, you hit a bump on your driveway or whatever and it'll stop the wheels. You hit a cloud of snow the right way and it'll stop the wheels. And I've tried adjusting the cable and etc, and I finally replaced the wheel, and that only helped a little bit. And quite frankly, I don't think there's anything wrong with this wheel. There's lots of meat on it still. It's soft. Now, I have two theories as to why this happens. Well, there's actually three. The third one is you get snow in there and it gets wet. And I mean, they all do that, but I don't think that's the problem with this one. My problem with this one is you got 6 speeds, but this thing flies. Like in first gear, it's like second or third on my old Toro. So A, they didn't gear it down enough. So I think that causes this to slip. And B, because they have to accommodate the lowest common denominator. So you got 80-year-old grandpa out there, I can't push the lever down, no. So I think this spring is not strong enough to give it the tension it needs. So as you can see, I added 3 extra pull springs. And it really adds a lot of tension to that cable. And it never missed a beat. So I did the whole driveway. The wheels never stopped turning. And I found if you got greedy and you were in really deep snow, and sometimes you got to lift up a little bit, and then you end up, you know, in like say 4 inches of snow with your tires, it would even stop then. And I tried driving this around through the deep snow and I couldn't make the wheels stop. So if this is your problem you're having, try this. And I don't think the older machines have this trouble. If you got an older machine and it's doing this, I would try replacing your wheel first. But I've had trouble with this one from day one. This thing's about 4 or 5 years old. Now, when you put the springs on, go from this hook up to the top here. You don't want to go from this eye here, otherwise you'll be engaged all the time, so to speak. So just go around the spring. If you got ideally you have a little bit stronger springs and you just put 1 on, but I had to put 3, and it seems to have cured the problem. So yeah. My only other complaint with this machine is it seems like it's hard to get parts for. Because that was right. I bought it like the next year or the year after. Briggs & Stratton went bankrupt, and then we had COVID and every excuse under the sun not to make parts for these. And but the thing is, they still make them. Briggs & Stratton still makes them. They just don't put the Simplicity on it anymore. It just says Briggs & Stratton. And you know how I know this is because every part I have gotten says Briggs & Stratton on it. If you're wondering, there's the part number for the friction wheel. So make sure you always keep your auger greased well. Another modification I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add a grease fitting up here somewhere. I see the new ones have that. It's a real pain in the ass to put the special grease in through this hole. I might even just thread it into there and call it good. It uses like a 00 grease, so it's semi-liquid. You know, this machine, it throws the snow really well, but I don't know, they just Don't make them like they used to. I mean, my old Toro, I got chains on it I made. They got, it's angle iron that I bent in a shape like this, almost like a forwarder track. And that's the crossbars on it. And I mean, that thing digs in, it'll climb Mount Everest. You know, it's even better in some conditions than the track machines. But this one, there'd be no way you could have ever did that. I put these chains on there. The ones that were recommended by the dealer, and being how flimsy this transmission is, they said this is the best you should put on. And at the time I agreed with that, but they're kind of a joke, really. They just sit in between the lugs and it still spins. So, in fact, it was almost better without them, because these just pack with snow and then you don't have as much grip. So I might end up modifying these chains now, because I mean, this thing's came with a 3 or 4 year warranty. It's definitely off now. So just I guess the best you can do nowadays is buy a semi good machine and then beef it up the best you can, because you can't just buy good stuff anymore. Because I mean, my Toro's from 1980, and I've given that thing barely any love. It just fires up, you know, coated in fucking snow. It doesn't give a shit. This thing, you gotta baby it, bring it inside and thaw it all out so these electronic things don't break. And I should have bought the cheaper one with the manual chute controls, but I don't know. I wanted something nice. It has heated handlebars, which is nice, and I wouldn't care so much if the parts were readily available. But you can't just buy, like this gearbox, for example. You can't just buy the guts for it, or the bushings, or the seals, or anything. You have to buy the whole frickin' gearbox, which is like $600. You know, I decided to buy one just to have it on hand in case it fucks up. Because who knows, right? So there you go. There's a brand new gearbox. And now I say parts are hard to get, but if you go through the simplicity thing, I think they are. If you can match this shit up to Briggs & Stratton, I think it's fine. But they're not very forthcoming with that information, because they don't give a shit. They want you to go, oh, it's 5 years old, it's hard to get parts for it, let's just buy another one. I tell you, if you're gonna buy another one, fucking buy a Honda if you can afford it, because those things are bulletproof. I'm trying to find the part number here. There you go. There's the part number for the gearbox if you need it. But yeah, and if you can't afford a Honda, I think the Husqvarna ones are not bad. Aaron's used to be good. I don't know about the new ones. I don't even see them around anymore. So, and these used to be good. I have a ride-on lawnmower that's, from the 90s or whatever. It's an older machine, and it, I paid $75 for it because the motor was blown up. Put a new motor in it. I haven't had to do anything to it for years, so it works great. Like a lot of things, this thing is a good idea, executed not so great. So, and it does have 2 reverse gears, but I can't tell the difference between the two. It's kind of silly. As all snowblowers like this, it frustrates me. You can't go as fast as you can in reverse as you can forward. The Honda ones with the hydrostatic transmissions, they do, and they're quite productive. And Yeah, good quality machines. So, the motor itself, I actually haven't had too much trouble with it. My only complaint is even when it's hot, you gotta use the choke to start it, but whatever. Okay, well, I hope this video helps somebody. So like I say, this spring I think is just not strong enough. And you gotta adjust this so it just, there's just a tiny gap in between here when you pull on it. So you pull on both halves together, there should be a tiny little gap. If you go too far, it'll want to try and move all the time. Now they say in a book, if you pick up the wheels and they move to adjust it, I wouldn't. As long as it doesn't move while it's sitting, it's fine. That friction wheel is new, and they're kind of more pointed than this one, so it'll wear down so it's nice and flat. Yeah, I think if I had done this first, I wouldn't have replaced this, but they're not that expensive, but it's just annoying because you buy a new machine and you're not supposed to have to work on it all the time, and it seems like I'm always working on this one, and my one that's, like I said, older than the hills, gets zero love. I never have to do anything to it. Now, that being said, I did put a new carburetor on it this year, but that's just because the old one would leak gas a little bit, and it got annoying, so now it doesn't leak gas, so, but it still ran good. So anyways, that's my rant for today, so I'll talk to you later.